The sound of gunfire and screams filled the air as I dropped to the ground, my camera equipment scattered all around me. I had been embedded with a special operations unit in a war-torn country, tasked with documenting their mission to intercept and decode enemy communications. The team's point man, a grizzled sergeant, yelled for us to take cover as a hail of bullets whizzed past our heads. I fumbled for my camera, trying to get a shot of the chaos unfolding before us. The sergeant grabbed my arm, pulling me towards a nearby alleyway, as the rest of the team laid down suppressive fire to pin down the enemy. My heart racing, I stumbled into the alley, the sounds of war muffled slightly by the narrow walls. The sergeant handed me a small, ruggedized laptop, the screen flickering to life as he booted up the system. "We've got a problem," he growled, his voice low and urgent. "The enemy's comms are encrypted, but our codebreakers think they've cracked the code. The issue is, the messages they're sending are unsettling." I took the laptop, my eyes scanning the lines of text streaming across the screen. The messages were brief, but they sent a chill down my spine. "We know what you're looking for," one message read. "You'll never find it." Another message simply stated, "You're already dead." As I read the messages, a creeping sense of dread began to spread through my mind. What kind of enemy would send such taunting, psychological messages? And how had they managed to encrypt their communications so effectively? The sergeant's voice cut through my thoughts, his tone grim. "We need to get to the bottom of this. Our codebreakers think the enemy is using a new, advanced encryption algorithm, one that's designed to deceive and mislead." I nodded, my mind racing with the implications. This was more than just a simple code-breaking exercise. It was a battle for psychological supremacy. To understand the true nature of this conflict, it's necessary to delve into the world of geopolitics and technology. The art of codebreaking has been a cornerstone of military intelligence for centuries, with nations and empires rising and falling based on their ability to intercept and decode enemy communications. In the modern era, the advent of advanced encryption algorithms and computerized systems has raised the stakes, making it possible for even small, non-state actors to engage in sophisticated psychological warfare. One of the key players in this game is the National Security Agency, NSA, the United States' premier signals intelligence agency. The NSA has a long history of code-breaking, dating back to the early days of World War II, when its predecessor, the Armed Forces Security Agency, first began intercepting and decoding enemy communications. Over the years, the NSA has developed a range of advanced technologies and techniques, from supercomputers to artificial intelligence, to stay ahead of the curve in the world of codebreaking. However, the NSA is not alone in this field. Other nations, such as China and Russia, have also developed significant codebreaking capabilities, using their own advanced technologies and techniques to intercept and decode enemy communications. The result is a global game of cat and mouse, with nations and non-state actors engaging in a constant struggle to stay one step ahead of their adversaries. In recent years, the rise of advanced encryption algorithms has added a new layer of complexity to this game. These algorithms, such as the Advanced Encryption Standard, AES, and the Elliptic Curve Cryptography, ECC, use complex mathematical formulas to scramble and unscramble data, making it virtually impossible to intercept and decode without the proper key. However, even these advanced algorithms are not foolproof, and codebreakers have developed a range of techniques, from side-channel attacks to quantum computing, to crack even the toughest encryption. The intersection of codebreaking and psychological warfare is a particularly fascinating and sinister aspect of this game. By using advanced encryption algorithms and clever messaging, an enemy can create a sense of uncertainty and fear in their adversary, making it difficult for them to discern reality from deception. This can be particularly effective in the modern era, where the spread of information is rapid and often unverified. A well-crafted message, designed to deceive and mislead, can quickly go viral, causing widespread panic and confusion. The concept of psychological warfare is not new, of course. Throughout history, nations and empires have used propaganda, disinformation, and other forms of psychological manipulation to influence their enemies and achieve their goals. However, the advent of advanced encryption algorithms and computerized systems has raised the stakes, making it possible for even small, non-state actors to engage in sophisticated psychological warfare. One of the most famous examples of psychological warfare is the Operation Fortitude campaign, conducted by the Allies during World War II. In this campaign, the Allies used a combination of propaganda, disinformation, and deception to convince the Germans that the main invasion of Europe would take place at the Pas de Calais rather than Normandy. The campaign was incredibly successful, with the Germans maintaining a large force at the Pas de Calais long after the Allies had landed in Normandy. In the modern era, the use of psychological warfare has become even more sophisticated, with nations and non-state actors using advanced technologies and techniques to influence their enemies. The use of social media, in particular, has become a key aspect of psychological warfare, with many nations and non-state actors using platforms like Twitter and Facebook to spread propaganda and disinformation. As I sat in the alley, surrounded by the sounds of war, I couldn't help but wonder what other secrets lay hidden in the enemy's encrypted messages. Were they simply trying to deceive and mislead us? Or was there something more sinister at play? The sergeant's voice cut through my thoughts, his tone grim. We need to get out of here now. The enemy's closing in, and we don't know what they're capable of. I nodded, grabbing my camera equipment as we made our way back through the alley, the sounds of war growing louder with every step. Little did I know, this was just the beginning of a journey into the heart of darkness, where the lines between reality and deception would become increasingly blurred. As the conflict escalated, the opposing forces clashed in a series of intense battles that would test the limits of their tactics and technology. The initial phase of the conflict saw the deployment of armor, with the introduction of the M4 Sherman and the Panzer IV, two of the most advanced tanks of their time. The M4 Sherman, with its 75mm M3 gun and 400 horsepower Ford GAA engine, was a formidable opponent, while the Panzer IV, equipped with its 75mm KWK-40 gun and 300 horsepower Maybach HL-120 engine, was equally impressive. The battle began with a series of probing attacks, as both sides sought to gauge the strength and disposition of their opponent's forces. The Allies, employing their superior air power, launched a series of reconnaissance missions using the P-51 Mustang, a versatile and highly maneuverable aircraft that could outperform most of its contemporaries. The P-51, with its 695 horsepower Packard V-1650 engine and 6.50 caliber machine guns, was the perfect platform for gathering intelligence and conducting ground attacks. Meanwhile, the Axis powers, aware of the Allies' air superiority, opted to employ their own brand of aerial warfare. The Luftwaffe, flying the Messerschmitt Bf-109, a highly advanced fighter aircraft with a 455 horsepower Daimler-Benz DB-605 engine and two 13mm machine guns, launched a series of daring raids against Allied airfields. The Bf-109, with its exceptional speed and climb rate, proved to be a formidable opponent, and the Allies were forced to scramble their own fighters to counter the threat. As the battle raged on, the introduction of new technologies began to play a significant role. The Allies, utilizing their superiority in code breaking, were able to intercept and decode Axis communications, gaining valuable insights into their opponent's plans and dispositions. This intelligence, combined with the use of advanced radar systems, such as the -584 Seychelles rupees, allowed the Allies to anticipate and prepare for Axis attacks. The SCR-584, with its ability to track multiple targets simultaneously and provide accurate fire control data, proved to be a game-changer on the battlefield. The Axis powers, however, were not without their own technological advancements. The introduction of the V-1 flying bomb, a cruise missile powered by a 772 horsepower Argus AS-014 pulsejet engine, allowed them to launch a series of terror attacks against Allied cities. EV-1, with its ability to fly at speeds of up to 350 miles per hour and deliver a 900-pound warhead, was a highly effective weapon that caused significant damage and disruption. As the conflict entered its second phase, the battle began to shift in favor of the Allies. The introduction of the M26 Pershing, a heavily armored tank with a 90mm M3 gun and 500 horsepower Ford GAF engine, gave the Allies a significant advantage on the battlefield. The M26, with its improved firepower and mobility, was able to outperform the Panzer IV and other Axis tanks, allowing the Allies to gain a foothold on enemy territory. So the Axis powers, realizing that their position was becoming increasingly untenable, launched a series of desperate counterattacks. The Luftwaffe, flying the Focke-Wulf FW-190, a highly advanced fighter aircraft with a 1,700 horsepower BMW 801 engine and two 13mm machine guns, launched a series of attacks against Allied airfields. The FW-190, with its exceptional speed and maneuverability, proved to be a formidable opponent, and the Allies were forced to scramble their own fighters to counter the threat. Despite these efforts, the Allies continued to gain the upper hand. The introduction of the B-29 Superfortress, a strategic bomber with a 200 horsepower Wright R-1820 engine and a payload capacity of up to 20,000 pounds, allowed the Allies to launch a series of devastating bombing raids against Axis cities. The B-29, with its ability to fly at high altitudes and deliver precision-guided munitions, was a highly effective weapon that caused significant damage and disruption. As the battle raged on, the Allies began to push deeper into enemy territory. The introduction of the LVT-4, an amphibious landing craft with a 250 horsepower Continental R-6572 engine and a payload capacity of up to 10 tons, allowed the Allies to launch a series of daring amphibious assaults. The LVT-4, with its ability to navigate difficult terrain and deliver troops and equipment to the battlefield, proved to be a highly effective platform for conducting combined arms operations. The Axis powers, realizing that their position was becoming increasingly desperate, launched a series of last-ditch counterattacks. The introduction of the Tiger II, a heavily armored tank with an 88mm KWK-43 gun and a 690 horsepower Maybach HL-230 engine, gave the Axis powers a significant advantage on the battlefield. The Tiger II, with its improved firepower and armor, was able to outperform the M26 Pershing and other Allied tanks, allowing the Axis powers to gain a temporary foothold on the battlefield. However, the Allies were able to adapt and overcome these challenges. The introduction of the bazooka, a portable anti-tank rocket launcher with a 2.36-inch rocket and a range of up to 300 yards, allowed infantry units to engage and destroy enemy tanks. The bazooka, with its ability to deliver a high-explosive anti-tank warhead, proved to be a highly effective weapon that caused significant damage and disruption to Axis armored forces. As the conflict entered its final phase, the Allies began to push the Axis powers back on all fronts. The introduction of the C-47 Skytrain, a transport aircraft with a 1,200 horsepower Pratt & Whitney R-1830 engine and a payload capacity of up to 6 tons, allowed the Allies to launch a series of airborne assaults. The C-47, with its ability to deliver troops and equipment to the battlefield, proved to be a highly effective platform for conducting combined arms operations. The Axis powers, realizing that their position was becoming increasingly hopeless, launched a series of desperate last-ditch counterattacks. However, the Allies were able to anticipate and prepare for these attacks, using their superior intelligence and technology to outmaneuver and defeat their opponents. As the battle drew to a close, the Allies emerged victorious, having successfully employed their superior tactics and technology to defeat the Axis powers and bring the conflict to a triumphant conclusion. The aftermath of the code-breaking endeavors during World War II was a complex and multifaceted phenomenon that had far-reaching consequences for the world of warfare and beyond. The turning point in the war, which was heavily influenced by the Codebreakers' work, was the Battle of Midway. This pivotal battle marked a significant shift in the balance of power in the Pacific, as the United States Navy was able to thwart a Japanese naval invasion, in large part to the intelligence gathered by Codebreakers. The Codebreakers' ability to decipher Japanese naval codes, particularly the JN-25 code, provided the United States with crucial information about Japanese military movements and plans. This intelligence allowed the U.S. Navy to prepare an ambush for the Japanese fleet, resulting in a decisive victory that turned the tide of the war in the Pacific. The success of the Codebreakers at Midway was a testament to the power of signals intelligence and the importance of codebreaking in modern warfare. The legacy of the Codebreakers' work during World War II can be seen in the modern era, where signals intelligence and codebreaking continue to play a vital role in military operations. The development of advanced computing technology and cryptographic methods has made it possible for nations to create highly secure communication systems. But it has also enabled codebreakers to develop sophisticated methods for intercepting and deciphering encrypted communications. The impact of codebreaking on warfare has been profound, and it has changed the way that military forces operate and interact with each other. The ability to gather intelligence, through signals intercepts, has become a critical component of modern military strategy, and it has enabled nations to gain a significant advantage over their adversaries. The use of code-breaking and signals intelligence has also raised important questions about the ethics of surveillance and the balance between national security and individual privacy. In the decades since World War II, the art of code-breaking has continued to evolve, with the development of new cryptographic methods and the use of advanced computing technology. The advent of the digital age has created new challenges and opportunities for codebreakers, as the volume and complexity of digital communications have increased exponentially. The rise of cyber warfare has also created new threats and vulnerabilities, as nations and non-state actors seek to exploit weaknesses in digital systems and communication networks. The codebreakers' work during World War II also had a profound impact on the development of computer science and cryptography. The efforts of codebreakers like Alan Turing and his colleagues at Bletchley Park helped to lay the foundation for the development of modern computer science, and their work on cryptographic methods and algorithms has had a lasting impact on the field of cryptography. The development of the bomb machine, which was used to decipher German Enigma codes, was a significant innovation in the field of codebreaking, and it paved the way for the development of more advanced computing technology. The legacy of the codebreakers can also be seen in the modern era, where cryptography and codebreaking continue to play a vital role in securing digital communications and protecting national security. The use of advanced cryptographic methods, such as public key cryptography and encryption protocols, has become widespread, and it has enabled individuals and organizations to secure their communications and protect their data. The development of quantum computing technology has also raised important questions about the future of cryptography and codebreaking, as the potential for quantum computers to break certain types of encryption has significant implications for national security and individual privacy. In the end, the story of the codebreakers is a testament to the power of human ingenuity and the importance of intelligence in warfare. The work of the codebreakers during World War II was a crucial factor in the Allied victory, and it has had a lasting impact on the world of warfare and beyond. As we look to the future, it is clear that the art of codebreaking will continue to evolve, and it will remain a vital component of modern military strategy and national security. The codebreakers' legacy is a powerful reminder of the importance of intelligence, innovation, and determination in the pursuit of national security and global stability. As we move forward in an increasingly complex and interconnected world, the lessons of the codebreakers will remain a vital part of our collective heritage, and their work will continue to inspire and inform new generations of scholars, policymakers, and military leaders. The codebreakers' story is a powerful reminder that, in the world of warfare and beyond, knowledge is power, and the ability to gather, trigger, and analyze intelligence is a critical component of success.